Last year, Skidoo's GSX SE was a very close runner-up in the SnowTrax Real World Sled of the Year competition. Its biggest drawback was its price, but today, price is not an issue. If you want the most maxed out one-up trail touring sled ever made, this is it. The GSX has long been a favorite of mine, mixing a healthy dose of performance with a heaping pile of comfort features. The only drawback is that riding a GSX might make you a tiny bit insecure in your manliness. But I digress. Is manliness not all about comfort? Yes, of course it is. Hairy-chested men the world over buy sports cars with luxury interiors, SUVs with all kinds of convenience features, and minivans with 280 horsepower motors. Underneath all the grunting and lifting of hoods lays the basic desire to go fast and be comfortable doing it. And that's what the GSX is all about. Its 130 horsepower four-stroke is an overachiever in every way. It's super fast, great on gas, and it's quiet. It's an all-day runner that won't tire you out, and it's just as comfortable pushing the C-note down Kevlar Lake as it is cruising a big hydro line in Quebec. We've said it again and again, and to be perfectly honest, none of us here at SnowTrax cares whether or not saying this will offend a few Skidoo diehards. The 1200 Vortex suffers from momentary lag on initial throttle tip-in. Combine this with an extremely low engagement RPM, and you've got a sled that feels jumpy. It's real, it's true, it exists, and we don't like it. But we do love everything else about this motor. Once you're rolling, the lag becomes a non-issue. So on those long pulls, all you have to think about is the bellowing four-stroke torque you have under your hood. You could also take some time to think about all the other cool toys you've got pampering your backside. A heated seat, adjustable handlebars, big old Mack truck windshield, maxed out digital gauge, electric reverse, 12-volt outlets, you name it, this thing has it. Right down to its on-the-fly adjustable air ride suspension. Skidoo calls it ACS, which simply stands for air-controlled suspension, and it's not magic. It consists of a tiny pump mounted inside the left side panel, mated to an air spring on the rear arm shock. This system is not meant to make the skid stiffer. It's meant to change the spring preload on the rear arm, which affects ride height of the sled and therefore at what point in its travel the skid is operating. More pressure jacks the back of the sled up, so it's riding at the top of its travel. This gives the sled less dropout into bumps, but offers more up travel. Less pressure lets the sled sag down more. This gives lots of dropout, but less up travel. This system also comes in handy when your saddlebags are loaded. The more weight you're carrying, the higher you set your air spring to help maintain your ideal static ride height. At the end of the day, the important takeaway point here is that this system is supremely useful. We find ourselves tweaking the spring as conditions change throughout the day. It's not one of those gimmicky features that's cool to say you have, but not really something you'll ever use. Mating the 136-inch ACS-equipped SC5 rear skid with the Rev XR chassis and front end produces one of the most mellow and predictably handling Skidoos you can buy. It's stable and planted in all conditions, turns easily, and stays flat when cornering aggressively. As far as handling goes, this package is excellent. The more you think about it, the more it becomes apparent that the GSX SE, despite its reputation as an old man or a woman's sled, is in fact exactly the type of sled an image-conscious male should be looking at. But there's one glaring issue that will likely turn away more than a few guys. Let's just put it out there. The 2013 GSX SE isn't the most exciting looking sled ever. Even with its painted tunnel and skid frame, its gray-black paint scheme and lack of graphics just isn't awesome. It's stylish, but it doesn't get your motor all revved up. And this has historically been the downfall of the GSX in the minds of guys who really do want all the bells and whistles. If its looks don't measure up, you'll always feel self-conscious. The answer to this problem is simple. Jazz it up a bit, throw some bling at it. Don't make it look like a race sled, make it look like a sports car. Aggressive, yet classy and refined. If anyone could do it, it's definitely Skidoo. Today should be the day that you take a serious look at the GSX SE. Whether it's for its features, its performance and handling, or all of the above, the GSX SE will over-deliver in every way. So don't be afraid. Let the world know that you're awesome and that your sled has more toys than anybody else's.